Welcome to So You Think You Can Write, where we give serious writing critique without taking ourselves too seriously. My name is Randy Lindsay, and with me is...
Torsha Baker.
Janette Rallison.
Brock Booher.
All right, and the way the show works is I'm going to read a first-page submission, and the other three are going to act as if they were agents or editors, and if they would stop reading a manuscript, they'll hit the buzzer.
And
All right.
scowl.
And, well, Janette will scowl.
Or roll our eyes.
Okay.
There will be a reaction, apparently.
Or weep, because we know what it feels like.
That's true. That's what we'll do.
Yes.
We're weeping
This one
for
does.
you.
This one knows what it feels like.
Oh, definitely.
Okay.
All right, the title for this one is The Black Eyes. No one could explain how, why, or when the baby's eyes turned black. Her parents were adamant that her eyes were the most beautiful shade of cream. An infant, Eliana Lagos, was admitted immediately into surgery to see if the doctors could restart her tiny heart. She looked so out of place, strapped to an adult-sized stretcher, naked down to her diaper, skin white as the clouds, one tiny drop of red on her face, the characteristic clown nose.
Okay, so I really liked that first sentence, but then I felt like it jumped a little bit, like we're not sure why she's being admitted into surgery, like what that has to do with her eyes, or if it has to do with her eyes, but then the clown nose thing just seems totally unrelated. I feel like I need some connection between these events.
Maybe she's part of a wandering band of clowns.
We're going to find
The
out.
next sentence is...
Well, let's see.
Okay.
Keep
Okay.
going.
The clowns around her, dressed in security vestments, topped with white surgical coats, all had the same pale skin and red noses, but their faces were embellished, each with the unique black markings that appeared around puberty. Dr. Christos Vasilaskis was commanding and powerful as he directed his nurses. Mina set the machine to 100. Yes, doctor. She pressed the appropriate buttons and flipped the appropriate switches. Ready. Navin Thalassa, well, these are difficult names to pronounce, watched from a short distance as Christos held the small metal paddles above the baby's chest. Navin was the newest doctor on the staff of
Multinopoly National Hospital.
National Hospital, and took every opportunity he could to observe his more experienced colleagues without getting in the way. When Christos had been called for the code red, Navin had run to the room with him. Navin turned the details over in his mind, examining them like an ancient artifact.
Okay, I'm sorry. The other end, okay. I'm a little confused, which you don't want happening on your first page. So this is a clown society, I'm guessing?
Sounds like it.
That's what it sounds like, which is very interesting. And yet it made me a little confused. But perhaps if you read the back of the book and you already know that's what you're expecting, then it's fine. But the other thing too is kind of a point of view. Like I'm a little confused because if we are in Navin's point of view, because we're saying that he's turning the details over in his mind, so we're in Navin's point of view, but weren't in Navin's point of view up at the whole first part of this page. And so whose point of view are we in before we're Navin's point of view, and then we're jumping heads if we're jumping into Navin's point of view from somebody else. Right? Yeah. So
That's what I thought too.
yeah, so definitely there needs to be, you need to figure out who is your point of view character. If it's going to be, was it omniscient, right? Omniscient.
Right.
Right. Right.
Then, which I'm going to fully disclose, I don't know all the rules with that one because I don't write in that point of view. But just make
Well,
sure
you're
that...
omniscient. There really are no rules.
Well, I guess so.
Well, that's omnipotent.
Or no.
If you're omnipotent, there's no rules.
There really are no rules.
Anyway, just what I would say is research and make sure that you're following the rules. If we are going to be in Navin's point of view, you've got to be in Navin's point of view through the whole scene from the start. Now you can change to another point of view, but it needs to be at a chapter break, not in the middle of a scene for sure.
the book Dune uses this point of view, omniscient point of view. So if you want a good example of one, Dune.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Lainey Taylor's,
Mm.
her two series are both omniscient. And yeah, but if you're going to go omniscient, then you have to set out really a strong omniscient voice on that first page so that the reader knows it's omniscient.
So that it's established firmly.
Yeah.
So we
And
got couple sentences left though to
Yeah,
finish,
okay.
right?
Okay. Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
We
Okay,
have ourselves.
black eyes. Why black? Black was created by combining all colors, or it could represent the absence of all light. Naaman's hand found its way to his chin.
Okay. So we're
So now
definitely-
I didn't buzz it. It intrigued me. I felt off balance, like we talked about, all the things we talked about. But I guess it intrigued me enough that I was willing to go a little bit further to see if I could find my balance. But it definitely, I agree with what you said about it being, you just kind of get lost a little, kind of a little confused. But the description, the idea of clowns and security vestments, and
Yeah.
this I was like, okay, where are we going with this? And it could be the next page I might go, no, you've lost me, or the next page I go, oh my gosh, you've hooked me forever. I'm not sure yet, so it's pretty interesting.
Yeah, the Clown Society is interesting, although it was confusing to me first. But yeah, also security vestments, I'm like, so is the hospital in need of security? Like, I didn't
I don't know.
understand that.
Yeah.
And so I really like this first line,
Mhm.
because it's like this intriguing fact about this baby that we know is going to be important for some reason. But I was thinking that from that first sentence we were going to go to her like as a teenager or something when she still has these black eyes, but then she's an infant and going into surgery because her heart failed. But I feel like we need some more information about that.
Right, and that may be starting the story at the wrong place. This might be too much backstory right up front, and
Yeah, it depends
needs to move right.
where you're going,
Right.
or who's, because I was also assuming that she's going to be the main character, but it looks like this is maybe a medical mystery from the clown's point of view, and Dr. Naaman is the main character by the end of the first page. So
Is it like Operation? With,
oh my heavens.
anyway,
Author, did you play that game as a child? Maybe that's influencing you. We don't know.
I was intrigued though. Like I said, I have to say, I didn't buzz it because it just was. I felt intrigued, but the next page would mean a lot to me. I don't know whether So.
Yeah.
Well, definitely they're working on the child's heart, and they move away from that to reflect on backstory. But then, if this is Clown Society, you have to establish that. I mean, it seems like it's Clown Society, but you can't leave it at a point where it seems like it's Clown Society. You have to make it very succinct that this is a society of clowns or creatures that are clowns or whatever it is. That has to be really, really clear right away. And then if you want to dive into the whole, they're working on the child's heart, that's fine. But don't pull away from that, because then you've got our attention. This is life and death. Let's not talk about black eyes when the child might die at any moment.
Yeah. Well, for some reason I think they were maybe thinking they were connected, but that's just a guess too, because we don't know whether they're connected, which would be gee, I wonder why they have a rash or something when the real problem is the heart. You're right. Okay.
So I really wonder if this is a prologue.
Oh,
You know,
it's
and
possible.
yeah, because I feel, that's what it feels more prologue-y to me, and the reason I say that is because I don't know who this main character is. I have zero voice, I'm not rooting for somebody right here. I mean, I guess, of course, we're always rooting for babies not to die, that's always a good thing. But I guess what I'm saying is it's jarring. We're kind of jumping around here. We're going from the baby, like she said, the great first line, into, the baby almost dying, into, well, now we're looking at her eyes, and now there's, two new characters, and we've got no description except for red noses, of the characters, though.
And the pale white skin.
And the pale white skin. But, I don't really have any of the senses, or more of the sensory details. So it could be extremely intriguing, and I'm hoping this is more of a prologue to get us, ready for, rooting for somebody. But I don't know. I'm just a little too confused.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, and I would just suggest to the author to go and study some point of view. I mean, there's sites on the internet that talk about it, there's books.
Plenty of them.
But yeah, so, because I just feel like that's this line here, Dr. Christos, I'm not going to pronounce that last name, was commanding and powerful as he directed his nurses. We don't know whose point of view that is being told
Right.
from. Like,
Right.
is that's probably not the baby, that we don't know if the baby's parents are there, they're probably not. So, I would really suggest to just get one point of view character and then really give us their point of view through the whole thing.
Not to mention that is a show, don't tell sentence, right?
I was just going to say that.
All he
actually.
really just says, Dr. Christos Vasilakis
Oh, good.
commanded
Good
that
job.
commanded Mina, set the machine to 100, right? You don't have to then
Okay.
say that
That's
whole
right.
sentence, you can get rid of it.
Right.
Yeah,
So,
that's true. Good.
yeah.
Good.
And I have one more thing.
Yeah.
So the title of this is The Black Eyes. And so the child has the black eyes, so I'm gonna guess that the child
the
is the
main
main character. Why call it the baby and just talk about no one could explain why the baby had black eyes?
Okay.
Because that baby, it has a diaper already, right? So I'm sure it has a name. Let's identify, let's make that
Yeah.
baby,
Yeah.
especially if it's the main
Alana.
character, let's give it a name.
Well, Aliana Lagos, but it goes through it so quickly and almost
Oh,
at a
yeah.
distance, right, that you don't recognize it.
Yeah, start with the name.
Yeah.
There's no reason to hide that name from us.
Yeah, no one could explain how,
You're
why,
right.
or when
Oh,
Aliana Lagos' eyes turned black.
Right.
Yeah.
Boom,
Boom.
done.
That's better.
See, we're there to help you.
Okay.
Well, should we vote?
Oh,
We
okay.
should go.
Sorry.
Want me to start? I just said we'll go this way? Okay. I'm gonna give it a set. I'm intrigued. I think this has some potential, but there is some confusion and needs some work. But I was very intrigued by it, and I think it has a lot of potential to draw you in. So I'll leave it at that.
Yeah, I think it's definitely intriguing and is different than anything I've ever seen, like a clown society. That is just kind of intriguing in and of itself, because you're going to wonder, do they make people laugh, or did we as a society capture clowns from this other society and make them our
Ooh.
entertainment? Like, yeah, I don't know. It just seems intriguing,
That's
okay?
coming up with a
But,
book idea.
but I'm going to give it a right just because I feel like the point of view needs to be established.
Wait, you said set. Now you
Oh, wait.
said right.
No, he
No,
said
I
set.
said set.
Oh, okay. I thought you said set too.
No.
It's the voices in your head, Torsha.
They do talk to me often.
Uh,
Okay, I'm gonna give it a right as well. So, and I don't want, please know I feel this is a good storyline. I think you have a lot of potential here. I don't think it's starting at the right spot. We don't want to have a lot of backstory right in the beginning. So, and, all the things that they said as well, we'll just go with that. Yeah.
I am also going to give it a right. I think a story about clown society, if that is what this is, clown creature, I think that would be awesome. And it definitely starts off exciting. There's a good strong voice here, so lots of really good things going. But maybe it doesn't start in the right spot, and we definitely don't have a firmly established character and setting that I think is super important on page 1. So, a right.
So comment below, tell us if we got it right or if we're just clowning around.
Oh,
I had to say it, come on, I had to.
That is so
Anyway.
bad.
Brock
Okay.
is there with the puns when you
Just here to help for comic relief.
All right, until next time, get ready.
Get set.
Right.
Welcome to So You Think You Can Write, where we help people. Nope.
Nope, we don't.
Take
Nope,
two.
we
We don't help
Don't
people.
help
Not
anybody.
help
Don't help anyone.
Ready, one,